What's up, everybody? My name is KSaun. Welcome back to the WDL Season 2, Week 2, the Rundall Division. In case you haven't seen the video yesterday or the week ones, we have 20 teams in our league. We have 2 divisions, 10 teams each. Each division plays each other over the course of a 9-week regular season, and the top 4 from each division end up meeting in the playoffs against each other. So if you haven't watched yesterday's video already, please go watch it. It was a banger. It was a lot of fun. I really think you would enjoy it. So without further ado, though, let's get into the Rundall division. First of all, with the standings, we have a 5-way tie for first. AllSmokedUp, Mr. Aloha, Cop, MaechenX, and myself, with the Gumi Gods, Pineapple Pizza, the Gnostics, the Shoopufs Sweetheart Edition, and Demon Detectives, all tied for first with 3 points. The other 5 teams, unfortunately, are tied for last. All of our series last week only went to 2 games. None of the series went to 3 games, which was kind of a disappointment. So we're hoping to get a different result here and hopefully get some 3 games in some of these series. Did we get the result? We're going to find out. Let's get into the first matchup preview for this week. All right, guys, 5 different matches for you this week. Hopefully a bunch of 3-game series, but we'll see what happens. On the left side here, we've got AllSmokedUp of the guild Supperenes in the Gumi Gods. On the right side, King Delita of the guild Hokuten. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. And the team Black Sheep Knights. King Delita, unfortunately, didn't pick up any points last week, but like we said, there were 5 different teams that didn't pick up any points, so he's really not too far behind with that. The Gumi Gods looked very, very strong last week. He's got a really, really strong light team and a really, really strong water team. Couldn't believe how much work Chunok put in last week. It was really, really cool to see. I've almost never seen that unit. I just never see anybody play him in PvP, so it was cool seeing him. Wouldn't be shocked to see like Astrius be combined with him, maybe with Astrius, Chunok, Searches or something like that. But he's just got so many different good combinations here with water and light. And on the other side, he doesn't really have a true counter to the water. He doesn't have any lightning units other than Vadim, which I'm not really sure that counts. So he doesn't have any sort of elemental counter, but he's got some options for himself here, King Delita. He's got Flybearer Glaciella, who's one of the strongest units in the game. We saw him bring out her with King Mont and Vadim last week. Could we see something like Agrius or Terra or something like that? I don't know, but it should be interesting. And let's go ahead and dive into game number 1 of match number 1 of week 2. All right, guys, game number 1 of match number 1. We've got King Delita versus AllSmokedUp, 2 of our newer players to the series, to the WDL. It should be exciting. So we've got Glaciella Flagbearer on the left side here for King Delita. And we've got Sylvie showing for AllSmokedUp. So a team that we saw last week from King Delita, but on the right side here, something brand new for AllSmokedUp. Spirit of Wazette going to go here. A very nice AoE buff, also giving her that physical and magical shield. And what is King Mont going to do? Is this an AoE regen? Because he is channeling a spell. I think this is the only castable, like, time spell that he has. Something that takes casting time is what I'm trying to say. Shadowcast coming out from Vadim. So is he actually built evasively? Or did he not have anything better to run? I'm curious to see. And the defense up, Spirit up, and the defense resist, like debuff resist. Incredibly strong. We've got 2 30 cost units in this matchup. We've got Vadim on the left, Surges on the right. 2 units that you don't see very often. And Glaciella is going to go with the zombie TMR. And so King Mont, unfortunately, going to have to channel this spell again because it missed Vadim last time. But Bunny's Protection going to come out. Shell and Re-Raise. The Shell probably not really going to matter, but Re-Raise is always really, really good. And Boon of the Phoenix coming out from Locke. So he's got his AP up. He's got Re-Raise. Multiple people on this team, on AllSmokedUp's team, you're going to have to kill twice. It's going to be pretty annoying. Vadim apparently does not have range to get anything off here. I think that's one of his weaknesses, is he really just doesn't have range to get a lot of things done. Interesting, though, from Surges, that jump move actually gives him regen. I had no idea. I don't know enough about Surges. King Mont comes up. Honestly, Surges tanked that pretty well, considering there was an elemental disadvantage. This is an elemental advantage. However, Glaciella does a lot more damage. However, honestly, Surges taking a hit from both Glaciella and King Mont, I feel like he's doing his job at 30 cost. So what does Locke have for us? AP Hunt Plus. Going to take out the Vadim. Not a ton of damage, though, on the King Mont. So Surge is just going to go for the regular standard auto attack on King Mont. Kingmon can land Claws of the Young King as on an AoE, though. Get that slash attack resist down. And says I'll protect everyone, but really what she means is I'll destroy everyone. She does a bunch of damage to King Mont. Glaciella takes out Locke like absolutely no problem. He does have to re-raise crucially though. What can he get done? And looking at the turn order, Locke is going to go, and then Glaciella is going to go. Wicked Pummel. Mont is weak to strike resist, gets the counterattack, although I'm not sure how much that matters. Glaciella hits, that would have killed regardless. It is now a 2v1 in King Delita's favor. King Delita searching for his first point of the WDL. Can he pull this off? Sylvie is a damn good unit. True Paladin Strike, 2340, going to take out the King Mont. So now it is a 1v1. What's going to happen here? Shining Conviction. That is a lot of damage. It is certainly looking like it's in Glaciella's favor here. Does Sylvie heal herself? She is. She's just going to go for the Limit Break. So she gets a shield on herself and heals to full. AP Auto Restore. I said it was in Glaciella's favor. I'm not so sure anymore. She does have ways to bring back her allies. Will she ever try to, though? Will she heal herself? Will she go for damage? I'm not entirely sure what she's going to do here. I haven't personally played with Sylvie. I've played against her, obviously. She goes for the Knight's Blessing. She has multiple ways to get a shield and healing up. She's just trying to stall Glaciella out here at this moment. Removes the re-raise. I noticed, though, up in the top, we have actions left. We only got 6 actions left. So she actually does go for damage. She doesn't go for the heal. Removes the buff. Removes her own debuff. Only AP for an auto attack. 3 turns left. What does Sylvie have for damage? True Paladin Strike. 1775. That's not quite enough. There's 2 turns left, though. Can she kill Sylvie? 1701. No. She's currently sitting at 3270. Sylvie, this is the last turn of the fight. 2714. Oh my goodness. King Delita wins on turns. I think the health was 500 for Glaciella and 200 for Sylvie. That was actually insanely close. Honestly, if Sylvie was smart enough to heal herself rather than going for damage, I think AllSmokedUp actually would have won that fight. But that was literally about as close as you could possibly get with a fight. So neither one actually goes down. King Delita wins on turns, having the health advantage. Yeah, we're going to have to go to game 2. King Delita getting his first point of the WDL. Exciting for him. Let's see if he can get an extra couple points in this next game. So match 1, game 2, we've got King Delita versus AllSmokedUp again. AllSmokedUp changing it up, though. He's going for Astrius, Slime, and Raychaz here. And King Delita says, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm not going to change my team. Makes sense. He just won the last game. However, I will say, Raychaz and Astrius probably going to do a good amount of damage to that King Mont. Vadium, even though he has the elemental advantage, I'm not sure how much that's going to matter. But how well can King Mont tank it up while Glaciella does damage? Slime, we already know, is an incredible support unit. And I was wrong earlier in game 1 when I said I thought it was the regen for King Mont. It's that Mercy's Grace, that elemental attack resist buff. But he goes for Proclamation. He's going to have his hate up. However, Vadium is right out in front. Honestly, not so sure that's a bad thing for King Delita. Raychaz is going to use up and kind of waste some of her AP on the lower cost unit. Astra is going to go Constricting Cleave. Takes him out. It may say that he slowed him, but he put him down underground, so he's not going to be slow. He's not going to be moving. Zombie Rayray is going to go on the Glaciella. What does Raychaz have here? Heaven Splitter. Pretty good damage. 4,200 on the tank. What is Slime going to use here? He goes for the height 3 Holy Knight's Purge. This is one of the techs that I absolutely love about Slime. He can use any like vision card that has an ability on it. So Cross Destruction. Claws of the Young King does a nice job lowering that slash attack resistance. You notice that Slime took 1 damage. He has 100% slash resist. And obviously King Mon doesn't have any slash penetration. And Glaciella is a beast, but she looks like she's up against it here. Counterman Slash is going to come out, and this is now a 3v1. And Slime is going to go next before her. So he should be able to get a heal. Yeah, Hustle Dance +1 going to come out. And actually, the agility, or due to the slowing effect, I didn't even realize AllSmokedUp's going to lap Glaciella, and you have to think this is all but over at this moment. So yeah, still has the re-raise. How much AP does she have? Does she have a giant AoE in her? She's going to pop the Limit Break. There's no way, right? She has reflex. Technically, this is not over. That's a really nice AoE, but I don't think it's going to be enough. She's going to need like 2 more reflexes at least, if not 3. Can she get one here? Nope, Magic Buster's going to go down. She is going to drop. So she manages to steal a kill before the game ends. But SurfTaco, excuse me, AllSmokedUp brings it to a game 3. So I like to see it. We love seeing a 3-game series. We didn't see a single one all week in the first week. So right out of the gate and the first series getting a 3-game series. Thank you very much, you guys. I very much appreciate that. Let's go ahead and check out game 3. See if King Delita makes a switch up or ends up going with the same team. So game 3, I think King Delita's doing the exact same team here, actually. Surprises me just a little bit. On the other side, we've got the Surges showing. So it's the same team from King Delita. AllSmokedUp is actually the one who switches. So he says, no more Rachez for me. He's going with the Chunok and the Surges rather than the Slime. Maybe last fight he felt like Slime really didn't offer a whole lot, so he decides to go for Chunok, thinking Chunok's better than Rachez. He put in a ton of work with him in week 1. And Sweet Support going to come out from the Vadium. This is a much, much better tech than the first fight. I think last time he had Shadowcast. Maybe that was a mistake by King Delita. I'm not entirely sure. I apologize for that noise. A notification came up on the player's phone. All right, Zombie re-raise coming out on the Glaciella flag bearer. Proclamation up on King Mont. He has hate, but he's in the back. He is not going to be tanking for anybody at this moment. Triple Reef going to come out. Honestly, tanked up pretty damn well, but Astrius has... How can he... Yes. I don't even know what I was going to say. Can he utilize the slash chain? I think is probably what I was about to say. Takes out the Vadium. Glaciella goes down. The re-raise brings her back up. And Surges going to finally try and walk towards the fight here. But this is going to be really, really tough to get over. The disable, though, that is something very important. Glaciella, if she could somehow like take out Astrius soon, she actually takes out the Chunok. Disable doesn't matter if she's dead. Does Astrius have the AoE? Cross Destruction going to come out, going to take out Glaciella. Honestly, if she reflects that hit, I think King Delita probably wins this, but it's going to be really, really hard for him to win at this point. Vacuum Slash comes out, 1379. Astrius only with 5 AP, just going to auto-attack the Mont. And it's going to take them a little while, but I just don't think King Mont has the damage to return this. And they're just going to back him up in the corner. Vacuum Slash going to come out, 1300 damage. Astrius going to follow up with the Constricting Cleave, and that's going to do it. AllSmokedUp, losing game number 1, but comes back in convincing fashion, ends up winning the series, gets 3 more points, and now he is sitting, at least at the bare minimum, up at the top with 6 points. So, well played to him. GG's. Congrats to King Delita for getting on the board for the first time. 7 more weeks to get a plenty of more points for both of these players. Let's go ahead and check out the next series. All right, guys, matchup number 2 of week 2. I kind of wanted to put this at the end of the video, but I'm just going to put it in right now. So first of all, my team, I am the guild Thunder Gods. My team name, Demon Detectives, versus the one and only Coppola of the guild. I hope I'm saying this right, Galleon. I'm not entirely sure. If I'm saying that wrong, tell me in the comments. But the team, the Gnostics. First of all, in our pre-season rankings, where we guessed where these teams would end up, I was the only person who didn't put Cop's team as number 1. I put him number 2. And honestly, I very easily could have put him number 1. So this team is scary to go into. First of all, he's got the Starlight, Elena, Lucio. He's also got Skahal and Cloud. Either one of those pairings he can throw with Naya. And if you haven't seen Naya in this game, she is an insanely good 40 cost unit. It was his first overall pick. I think a fantastic choice by Coppola. And honestly, this team is just straight terrifying. The other angle that he could throw out here is something like a double spear unit with Victoria McLeod, and then Skahal in the back with haste or quicken and just a ton of damage in the back line. So what to expect from this guy, I wasn't entirely sure, other than looking at my team here. I really thought that he would look at my team and assume I would bring Dark. And He would think that for good reason, because I was planning on bringing Dark. And the reason I said that was I thought the only team that I could bring that gave me a shot against anything that he could bring was Little Leela the Bold, Shadow Lynx, and Yuna, or Little Leela the Bold, Shadow Lynx, Moraga. Brought out the Moraga last week, but this week I decided I wanted to try and make use of Yuna's buff Bar Light, which basically gives the team 35% light resist. And I thought he would probably bring Light as the best possible option into my Dark. So I figured we were probably going to get a Dark versus Light matchup. But this was the strategy I went with. I tried to go with Little Leela the Bold, Shadow Lynx, get some light resistance while also having a decent amount of luck to hopefully dodge an attack and make sure that I hit my attacks against his evasive units. So I don't want to sit here and talk about the theory craft too much here, but let's go ahead and dive into the games and see what happened. All right, guys, game number 1 between my team and Coppola's team. I know a lot of people think that Coppola is the best player around and he's got one of the best teams around, so I'm kind of up against it here. But basically my strategy here was game number 1, I wanted to try and bring my Dark team. I assumed he would probably bring Light, but I thought this team stood a chance against almost anything he could bring, and not necessarily would put me favored, but I at least have a chance. So turn number 1, Cops Elena, going to pop off Tempered my Resolve, going to get that Courage online. My Shadow Link's going to move to the side, get the illusion buff on her and Little Leela the Bold. And Lucio probably going to walk forward and pop Keenblade. This is a tech that Cop likes to run a lot on his teams.
I shall support everyone.
And Naya going to go for a buff here. Going to go for the sweet support. I will say, Cop did let me know that he actually meant to do the Bar Dark, or whatever it's called, of one of her sub jobs to try and get that Dark Resist up, but he said that it apparently didn't save the buff when he was trying to do that. So anyway, I go for the same type of thing. I go for the Bar Light on my team to try and get that light resistance up. Elena going to go for Zombie TMR. So now I have to kill Elena 3 times. So it's going to be very, very difficult. Lucio going to walk forward with that Light Blessing. And what is Naya going to do up at this point? So she's got nothing. So essentially, she just has 1 buff and then she walks up. I go for the Dark Haze, land the attack, land the blind with Shadow Lynx. If you don't know, Shadow Lynx actually has increased chance to blind. She has an extra 20% chance, which is not actually 20%. It's like more than that. So she has a very good chance at blinding people when she goes for it. Lands it. Little Leela the Bold goes for her limit break. Lands the blind on Lucio. So I get double blind right out of the gate. So instantly I'm thinking, hey, this is actually looking pretty possible for me. That being said, Elena has guaranteed hits in her kit. She goes for the Unavailable Pain. 3k damage onto Shadow Lynx. That light resist paying off so she doesn't get one shot. And I get the re-raise off on Little Leela the Bold. So unfortunately, I didn't get the courage off on Little Leela, but she does have re-raise. And I assume Naya here is going to go for a heal. She's going to take her sweet time. She's thinking about how badly she wants to heal her teammates. But she's going to channel. She's going to go for Curaga, Benevolent, heal up the whole team, also get that CT up. Shadow Link's going to walk up, Shadow Tether, 85, 84 damage, and stops. Again, just as I said, how she has an increased chance to blind, she also has increased chance to stop. So this is lucky for me, but it's actually not quite as lucky as it seems. That is kind of built into her kit. Similarly to how Curry has 50% frostbite chance, Shadow Lynx has 45 to both stop and blind. But anyway, Elena actually gets KO'd from the AoE from Little Leela the Bold, so she actually comes back to life. So unfortunately for me, I kind of didn't even want to get that kill. She was sitting there stopped doing nothing, and now she comes back. Luminous Grace going to come out from Lucio, and at this point I'm praying that Yuna doesn't die in one hit to this. It's very, very close, but she does not die. That being said, she goes for the Curaga that she was trying to land on the Shadow Lynx, but Shadow Lynx is dead, so that ability is going to do absolutely nothing. Unavailable Pain going to come out from Elena, and now Little Leela the Bold is in a 2v1, which I don't feel good about. Lucio, thankfully, is blinded here, so he's just going to buff himself. He can't actually hit, but now his blind fades. Little Leela the Bold going to have to put in a ton of work. Gets the auto attack on Elena. It is now a 1v1. Who is going to win this fight? It is down to the wire here. So Lucio going to go Scintillating Eclipse. That's a lot of damage, 6,600. And actually doesn't get that self-heal up. The all remove buff, Graceful Undoing, lands 3,300 damage. Decent amount. I do have the re-raise. But he's going to Crescentic Break. He's going to proc it. And at this point, I'm saying, hey, I need to connect and I need to kill in this hit or I am dead. 16 AP, pretty Paralyzer, costs 15 AP. She has just enough. And I actually managed to pick up the win in game 1 versus Cop here. So very, very excited about that. Honestly, going into this series, I thought I was going to get absolutely clapped 2-0. So the fact that I won game 1 left me pretty confident, or at least pretty excited, rather. And yeah, I thought the game 1 went pretty well, and I thought it went as good as I possibly could have hoped. Like I said, those double blinds and the stop, kind of unlucky for Coppola, but with those increased chances on Shadow Links, it's actually not as low of a chance as you think. It's actually like decently common. The luckiest part for me was that going into the Lucio, the blind on Lucio, that was the lucky part, because I know Coppola runs Lucio at 50 faith, and I believe he has blind resist off of Odin. So that was basically like less than a coin flip. I think that has, I don't know the math off the top of my head, but I want to say it's like a 37% chance that that blind would actually connect. And I got it. So like a 1 in 3 chance happened to work out for me. But GG's to Coppola. Honestly, going into game 2, I expected to see light again and just more dark resistance. So that being said, I decided I was going to stick with the same strategy and just change my initial positioning to make sure that I get all of my buffs off correctly. And let's see how it works out. Okay, guys, game number 2 here between myself and Cop. So same units, basically, at least from what I can see. I'm expecting that it is Lucio and Naya in the background. Whenever he hovers Starlight Elena, I think that's probably the most likely scenario. So getting into this game, I ended up, like I said, doing basically the exact same buff rotation, except I moved my units to the corner. And the reason that I did this was I really wanted to try and get my Little Leo of the Bold's courage off. I did not get that off last fight. And even though things went really well for me with that double blind and the stop, I was like, I can't guarantee that happens every single time. And I know Cop's going to adjust in some fashion, probably adding Dark Resist to his team. So I thought, at least if I could get my courage off and the re-raise on Shadow Links, that this could be more important. So it's just more times that he has to kill me. So that being said, Cop goes for the exact same turn rotation early, except the only switch up here is that Naya is going to channel her Dark Resistance buff, which she did not get off last time. So that is the biggest change. Bar Light going to come out from Yuna. And I can see at this point here, my positioning has actually thrown off his early turn rotation just slightly. I know that Dark Veil should have hit all 3 units, but because I was in the corner, Elena actually moved to the side. So Naya actually had to move before she cast her spell, which means she does not get it off in time. That being said, Little Lila the Bold gets her courage online, AoE resist, which I'm really, really happy about. Shadow Links is going to walk up, get the illusion on all 3. So her next skill will be re-raise if she gets it off. And Naya, having the Dark Resistance buff already go, she's going to channel it again so that she can try and get it on all 3. So this is partially good and partially bad for me, because obviously it took him longer to do this, so that he doesn't get the sweet support buff off also. However, the Dark Resistance has now been refreshed, so it does last a turn longer. So Lucio going to walk forward. He's out of buffs. Little Lila going to walk up. Delightful Destruction. Very good damage onto the Elena, but you can see that did very little to Lucio. Lucio was the one unit I was worried about going into this fight, because I know his Dark Resistance can just get insanely high. And crucially, even though it was a lot of damage onto the Elena, it was not enough to proc Courage. 404 short, so I needed a little bit more damage to proc that. And with Naya in the background, with her having this courage up, it's basically, in my head, like I didn't do any damage, because she's going to walk up, she's going to get this Kiraga off. So Lucio going to go up and pop the Limit Break, Luminous Grace, and this drops the light resistance of my units. So he's definitely going to go for this because I am building some light resist on my team. She tanks that up decently well in my mind, but again, that Kiraga kind of screws me over here. Little Lila, I need her to do a bunch of work. Goes for the Graceful Undoing. Crucially, gets the kill on Naya. However, she did not do any damage to Elena. She did get a dodge. I didn't go full accuracy with Little Lila the Bold here, so she does get a dodge here. And the Heian goes off from Shadow Links. Unavailable Pain going to go off, and Shadow Links is going to die. But she does have re-raise. So I believe the light resistance had worn off by that point. That's why it did so much damage. Crucianic Break. Crucially, Little Lila the Bull gets a dodge herself. So now it is down to 2v2, and we're each kind of dodging each other's attacks. But Elena's up next. She's going to go for her Limit Break. And to me, it looks like she's connecting with both units. So she goes for it. Shadow Links is going to drop. Little Lila crucially has her courage. What can she do here? She heals back up 4,300 damage. Lands the Delightful Destruction, but crucially, courage is still up on Elena. And Lucio has 19 AP. He manages to connect this time. Little Leela has her re-raise. And now Elena is going to go next. But she's got that guaranteed hit in her kit. She doesn't even need it. She's lucky enough that she can hit it. And she's got Lux Overflow. And I end up losing game 2. What I will say about this match is that I think if I had built just ever so slightly differently, I might have actually had a chance in this fight. Had I built slightly more damage and slightly more accuracy on Little Leela the Bold, I probably wouldn't have missed the Graceful Undoing, and I probably would have procced the Courage in one hit, which means that I might have potentially gotten rid of Elena a couple turns sooner. Who knows? I might not have won that anyway because Lucio's Dark Resistance was through the roof. It was going to take me a very long time to whittle through him. But I thought at least that my Dark team can have a chance versus his Light team given a certain different circumstance. So going into match 3, I said, hey, I won with it once, lost with it once. I'm going to try Dark again and try and beat his Light squad. And my change up here is that I'm going with a blitz strategy because my thought process was Cop is somebody who does a really, really nice job utilizing his early turn rotation, especially using things like Keen Blade, getting that CT up and getting multiple buffs off before you enter the fight. My thought was, hey, Shadow Lynx has a ton of movement. If I use Shadow Lynx and add Shikuchi to her kit, she now has 5 movement. She can sprint across the field really fast. She will be the second fastest unit in the game behind Elena, and I can position it in such a way that Lucio will not Keen Blade, and that she'll just go right up and attack these Shadow Lynx. So that was my strategy going into game 3, and let's see if it works out. Okay, guys, game number 3 here, and as you can see, that's not Starlight Elena. So the plan that I originally had in my head immediately goes, oh crap, I think I might be screwed. I am building a decent amount of light resist in this build, and I'm running a blitz strategy to try and get Shadow Lynx across the map as fast as I can. I decide with the TMRs and all that kind of stuff that I have set up, I'm still going to try the same strategy. My thought is if I can get Shadow Lynx across the map really, really quickly and get that evasion up, there's a chance that Skahal is in range of a Thundaga Disposer and misses. And if I can waste a turn, then I have an advantage of trying to win this game. I don't want them to get like Zombie Mask off on Skahal, because if he does that, I think that's a really big problem for me. So I end up still going with the blitz strategy anyway. So Skahal is going to go, and he's doing exactly what I want him to do. I want him to Thundaga Disposer immediately. The only downside is that I accidentally have Leela in range. I just wanted him to try and do that to Shadow Lynx. Does 6k to Leela. However, crucially, Yuna is sitting in the back waiting to heal, which is very, very good for me. Manages to get the heal off. The only downside here is I don't get the re-raise off like I'd like. That being said, I did what I wanted to, and I didn't get the zombie mask on the Skahal. So Shadow Tether going to come out from Shadow Lynx, does not get the stop on Skahal. I am not entirely sure if Cop is running stop resistance or not. If he's not, that's really, really unlucky that I didn't get it, to be completely honest, because it's a very high chance of happening, especially with a 97 Fate Skahal. But he might have stop resist. I'm not entirely sure. Thundaga Disposer comes out, procs the Courage from Little Leela the Bold, but she walks up, should be able to get an AoE. And unfortunately, the debilitating counter, which I once a long time ago used to beat Coppola in a Friday Night Fights in Orange Ace tournament, he uses against me. The debilitating counter comes out and takes out Little Leela. So now I'm hoping Yuna can walk up and get a full life off. But I'm quickly realizing I don't think she's doing full life. I'm pretty sure she's going for a Kiraga, which is okay, but it's not what I want because Shadow Lynx does not have re-raise on her right now. Skahal is going to channel a spell, and Cloud has triple slash. And even though Shadow Lynx has a lot of AoE resist when she has high health, he had already chained with himself, and with a chain that high, there's no way she was going to live. This hit right here, Cloud ends up taking an energy buster to the face from Skahal. If you guys don't know, there is a bug going around in PvP right now where certain units will get caught by their own teammates' AoE damage. Thankfully, this is the, I believe, only time that this happened all week. I was not notified of it, at least of any other players. And by this point, no spoilers, but this match is over anyway. So I end up losing 3-0 in game 3. That AoE hit on his own unit didn't matter. I was worried about that happening because it might cause some sort of like redo or replay if that were to happen, but it didn't matter. If that debilitating counter didn't go off, I'm pretty sure I just straight lose anyway. I think I might have had a chance in this fight if my Little Leela was one step back on turn 1. Because if he went for Thundaga Disposer, missed the Shadow Links, and completely whiffed that turn, Little Leela of the Bold would have gotten a re-raise from Yuna, would have had like one more method of living, so would have had Courage and re-raise right out of the gate. And I don't know, I probably would have lost, but I think it would have looked a lot more competitive than it did here. So anyway, I think the thought in my head was pretty good. But it just barely missed the execution. Coppola was nice enough to do a test run with me after this series of matches of this blitz strategy versus light team. And one thing that I didn't account for was that running Utsusemi on Shadow Links, his Lucio actually had a 0% chance of hitting my Shadow Links. So he ended up just keen blading anyway. So the strategy didn't work. I ended up getting 1 kill and it was very, very close to working. But I think had he had like a 5% chance to hit, I think the strategy would have worked. Anyway, I thought that I had some decent creativity. That being said, Coppola is an incredible player. His team is absolutely bananas. I'm honestly pretty happy to just take a point off of him. I really, really want to try and win as much as I possibly can this season, and I want to make top 4 because that means I make the playoffs, and that's my goal. Last season, I am not happy with how I finished. I got 8th place out of 10, and I'm not content with that. I'm too competitive to be content with that. So that being said, happy I got a point at least. Congrats to Cop. GG's, man. Let's go ahead and check out that next series. Matchup number 3 of week 2. We've got MaechenX and the Shoopufs Sweetheart on the left side of the guild Lucis, with Sandrooster of the guild Get Swifty and the team Bearhemian Rhapsody. Bearhemian Rhapsody unfortunately didn't get any points last week, but again, he was going against Coppola, a super good opponent with a super good team. It's hard to beat him, as we saw from the last series that I just played against him. That being said, I think Sandrooster's got a really good team and could put up a fight against MaechenX. The only thing that I will say he might have a slight disadvantage on is he doesn't have any fire units on his team, and MaechenX is known for being a very, very good ice player, or at least in the WDL that he is. So for Sandrooster, could he go like double missile to try and counter the missile angle of Aloha, maybe with like a Jaden, Summer Jaden, Zazan? Honestly, I'm not really sure though. He has so many different angles on this team, 4 different 100 cost units that he can pair together with Zazan, or he could just go straight like Lightning, Summer Helena Queen, or he could go Engelbert Jaden. A lot of different options there. On the left side for MaechenX, last week we saw him bring out that Alaya 6-0-0 score line, 6 kills, no deaths. Did all the work herself. She said, I'll take care of this. She went against SurfTaco. Again, just like I said in the Heindler division, kind of got saved by a reflex, but hey, it's part of the game. Counters happen all the time. People kind of complain about reflex, but there's a lot of other counters in the game that are really, really good. Debilitating counter on Skahal, for example. I've been saying that that's the best counter in the game for a long, long time, and helped take me out in game number 3 of our series. So anyway, getting into this matchup, I think Snow is a beast of a tank. Wouldn't be surprised to see Alaya Snow Uni. But I don't know. I think he's got a lot of different angles. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Let's go ahead and dive into game number 1 of this matchup. All right, guys, matchup number 3, game 1. We've got Sandrooster hovering his Murmur and MaechenX hovering his Uni. So Sandrooster, a big fan of Murmur, used her a lot in the last season. I know he's very excited to get those red mage buffs for her. That being said, running a Queen and Summer Helena strategy. And on MaechenX's side,
shall I turn you to seafoam?
That is a ZOMA sighting. That is incredibly exciting. I haven't seen ZOMA pretty much anywhere in PvP, to be honest, but I'm super excited to see it. He is massive on the map. It looks so hilarious to me how giant he is. He is basically taking up like multiple squares on the map. That being said, what is Queen going to do? She's going to pop Padfoot. That's a Sorrow TMR. Hate down and haste. Really, really nice technique. I like actually running the hate plus movement up buff on her, the ketone TMR, but honestly, this is just a better version.
The enemy is in sight.
Uni gonna go for Arrow Fall, only 539 damage. And the haste nullify would have been really, really nice earlier on, but didn't land it on the Queen and didn't land it before the haste went off. So Queen doesn't have any other buffs up, apparently.
Here I go.
Summer Helena going to pop Courage herself. And what does Murmur have for her? Going to pop the Fast Cast. So that is the buff that's getting a major buff to red mages. It's going to give haste. Sharpshoot comes out. How much damage did that just do? That was a lot. Summer Helena is very low. I think I saw 7k. So Charge Johanna coming up from Queen. How much is going to do? 6,300. Some pretty respectable damage. Queen, one of my favorite units. And crucially, Charge Johanna drops the healing power. So that self-heal that ZOMA has doesn't do nearly as much. as Machen would have liked. The Arrowfall does hit the Summer Helena, but does not proc the Courage, just barely. What is ZOMA going to do here? He's going to walk up. Is this the limit break? It is. This is Glacial Doom. And this looks like either a dark or a fire limit break, but of course it's ice. I guess it kind of looks like ice too. It looks like dark, fire, and ice all at the same time. One-shots the Murmur. And ZOMA putting in a little bit of work here. Solarization coming out. 52-31. He's going to drop, but I believe he has re-raise. Yes, he does. And what's the turn rotation here? So Aloha is going to go next. Who can she reach? She goes for the sharpshoot on Summer Helena. Pops the Courage. Can Uni take her out? No, he can't. He can only reach the Queen, and she actually physically reflexes that auto attack, so he won't even get AP from that. And what does Queen have? So she will not go for the ZOMA. She goes for the arm shot and takes out Uni. Poor Uni, but your sacrifice could be big here because ZOMA goes next. What does he have? He's just going to standard auto attack the Summer Helena. She is going to go down, and ZOMA has picked up his second kill of the match. Aloha going to go for Halo Bullets. 5987 damage and the Frostbite. Pops her defense piercing rate up, but Queen starts with so much AP that Frostbite's going to matter very little. The standard auto attack on ZOMA takes it out, so this is a 1v1. Queen does have physical reflex. This is not technically over, but Eraser is going to take her out. 3,800 damage, and now it officially is over. MaechenX is going to pick up the win in game number 1 versus Sandrooster. Sandrooster, a team who didn't get points last week, but again, he was playing against Coppola, who's one of the best teams that we've seen. I mean, we can see that from the last series. So, yeah, great game for MaechenX. Curious to see how Sandrooster adjusts. I expect that he will probably bring some sort of different team. Will we see the ZOMA again? Because that was really, really exciting. Let's go ahead and find out. Okay, guys, game number 2 between these two teams. And if you've been watching, please bear with me. If my voice is starting to go a little bit, I do apologize. I'm still getting over this like really bad cold that I had last week. And casting a bunch of games is that I really, really enjoy it and I love it. But when you have a cold, it's a little tougher. So I am losing my voice a little bit, but that's okay. We're going to power through it here. So on the left side, we saw a Cyrell, I believe, coming up from Sandrooster. The right side was a Uni. And Sandrooster going with the regular Jaden, not the Summer Jaden, with the Engelbert and Cyrell. Going to pop Revitalize. So Jaden's going to have bells. We'll have tons of AP for this fight. And we saw from SurfTaco last season, Jaden can put in a ton of work, especially against another missile unit. It's kind of what he specializes with. And what does ZOMA have? Does he have the re-raise again? Yes, he does. Zombie transformation, same as last time. So Machen, like I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's sticking with the same strategy. What does Cyrell go for? Goes for concentration. That actually gives agility up now. It never used to back in the day, but a nice little buff.
Commencing the attack. You can't get away.
Punishing slow arrow. 48-20. Holy cow, did I just read that right? 48-25. I just realized that was Uni doing all that damage. That was a ton. Good job, Uni. Came a long way from our Heindler series yesterday where he did like 89 damage in a hit. 96-40 though, jamming thrust coming out from Jaden. But I would say Uni kind of did his job already. So Armor Borer coming out, 4,000 damage. Not bad damage considering Engelbert's a physical tank. But Cyrell going to buff here, going to go Padfoot, so he's still using that Sorrow TMR, a really good tech. And Psy Cannon going off. 86-53 damage. And heals himself. Holy crap.
Leave the rest to
Engelbert going to the pop Knight's Blessing. That is the Mashri Horn TMR. So getting a shield on himself and the heal. That might be enough to live another hit. That's actually pretty crucial. Pretty big. Magiblast plus 63-95 damage coming out. I do apologize for those noises. I think those are notifications on the player's phone. I'm not entirely sure. Rending Tri-Shot coming out from Aloha. Not enough. That barrier crucially allowing Engelbert to live. This is looking pretty decent for Sandrooster here. The auto attack will kill Engelbert. So now it is a 2v2. Technically do have the elemental advantage over Cyrell, who I forget actually is kind of low because of the Uni, but Jaden should do a ton of damage here. Golden Magic Shot. Yeah, 76-77. That is enough to take out the Aloha and is now a 2v1 in Sandrooster's favor. Frost Axe is going to come out, 34-86 damage, healing power down. But I've never seen that counter. That's so cool. I think that removes the healing power down, and he just one-shots the Jaden. Oh yeah, that 100% got rid of the healing power down. Wow, that counter was actually clutch because he actually healed a ton off of it. And he's going to get it again. Not that it really matters. There is something about ZOMA's kit that I don't know. I don't know where that heal came from. I don't know enough about this character, but he looks really cool, and he is popping the F off. Holy shit. I don't know what just happened. I actually don't. I don't know what that heal came. I don't know what that heal came from. Like, if he procs the counter again, does he heal again? I have no idea. But ZOMA, man, that was wild. That was really, really cool to watch. I'm not going to lie. Congrats to MaechenX for that victory. Sandrooster, I will say his team is really good. He might have 0 points through 2 weeks, but if there was anybody from like 4th, 5th place down that I expected to completely turn it around, it would be him. I think he has faced legitimately the best 2 teams in our entire league, in Maechen's team and Cobb's team this first 2 weeks. So I don't think he should be sweating it. I think he will do better going over the next week, 7 weeks, excuse me. But man, I just can't go over that ZOMA. That ZOMA was really, really cool. GG's to both players, and let's go ahead and check out the next series. Okay, guys, 3 matches down, 2 more to go for this week. We've got SurfTaco on the left side of the Dead Society with the team Supperenes, and on the right side, Mr. Aloha from the exact same guild of Pineapple Pizza. So there was a lot of smack talk going on in our Discord channel before this series this week. I believe SurfTaco said that they were going to be tied in points after the end of this week, and Mr. Aloha said, you're going to have to change your team color after this week, claiming that he is the only blue team here. So major smack talk going on in the Discord. It was a lot of fun to watch, but I'm curious to see what happens here. SurfTaco, a great player, was our champion of season number 1. Didn't find the wins last week, but again, he was so close to beating MaechenX that I don't think you should sleep on this team. That's all I will say. So will we see the Perrine for the first time? It is in his team name. I hope to see it at some point. You could run something like Perrine Aerith Little Leela. Also, you could run something like Perrine Ramada Whisper. I think both of those could be really, really strong. On Mr. Aloha's side, I've heard nothing but good things about his Velis, saying that is an absolute powerhouse. But last week, it was the Glaciella show. It was basically her 1v3ing multiple matches against King Delita's team. She was an absolute monster. Will we see her again? I'm not really sure. But let's go ahead and get into this series and see who was right to back up their smack talk. Okay, guys, game number 1 of Mr. Aloha versus SurfTaco, the 2 guildmates facing off against each other. And like I said, there was a lot of smack talk in the Discord between these 2 players. So curious to see what happens here. SurfTaco bringing out the main character on his team, of his team name, the Supperenes, is ready to showcase Perrine. And Mr. Aloha looking to go, it looks like somewhat of a missile team. It's going Eliza, Velis, Liarte, actually. Interesting. So Perrine going to go her AoE buff. I actually don't know everything that does. The magic shield coming up from Aerith could help against Velis, I suppose. It won't help against Eliza and Liarte. I tried to combine Velis and Eliza all at the same time. Keenblade coming out from Little Leela, though. This 40 cost unit, putting in a lot of work, being able to use that TMR. Allows her to go right away before Velis even goes. Raging Waters. And this unit, I will say, Perrine, for being a damage dealer, she has 12k HP. That is no joke. Like, she is very, very bulky for a DPS. So running the Lancer sub job on the Liarte. I assume Velis is going to go for a haste on Liarte too, but Eliza's going to go first. She should be able to reach here. Cage of Thorns on the Aerith. Does this one-shot the Aerith? 9751. That's one shot in the Aerith. She is dunzo. Yeah, that magic shield helps against magic, but not against physical. And Mr. Aloha out to an early 3v2 lead. But silencing spell probably won't make a huge difference on Liarte, to be honest. Mostly a physical unit. She does technically have White Mage sub, but as we saw, we know she's not running that. What does Perrine have? She actually goes next. Subjugating Fist, 9128. Goodbye, Eliza. Hello, Perrine. Welcome to the WDL. All right, so Liarte's going to channel something here. Not entirely sure what shot she's going for. Snow Healing coming out from the Velis. Charm Charge, does the charm land? It does. Oh man, Liarte trying to hard carry out here. Subjugating Fist, 7,700 damage on to his own Little Leela. She crucially lives with 64 HP, but then she reflexes. Oh my god. Dude, these 30 cost units, 30, 40, whatever units, putting on a show. Because Liarte just basically did 7,000 damage through the charm of Perrine, and then Little Lila landed the silence on Velis. This is actually nuts. She gets the self-heal, but now that Velis is silenced, I don't know what they're going to do. Oh, Velis ain't silenced. He is dead. He is gone. Shout out to Liarte for the fact that she lived that hit and Velis didn't. That's actually kind of hilarious. But yeah, Perrine is putting in some work. Holy cow. Upsurge going to come out, 4656. And in case you were wondering if one of the brand new 100 cost units was any good, I'd say Perrine's pretty damn good. Excellent showcase from SurfTaco here in game 1. Does he bring it back out for game 2? I imagine he probably does. What is the switch up from Mr. Aloha now that he's seen this is the team that SurfTaco's bringing? Let's go ahead and find out. Okay, guys, game number 2 here. So SurfTaco and the Supperenes featuring that Perrine again. Wouldn't you know it, Mr. Aloha saying, hey, I got my own OP water unit. Remember week 1 where she killed like 5 people, basically all by herself, 1v3ing? Yeah, I got her. So he goes ahead and brings out his own water team versus SurfTaco's water team. Who is the true wave commander? We're going to find out. I know SurfTaco thinks it's him. He's got that title in Discord. And what does Glaciella got? Gonna go for Revitalize. Going to pop Bells right away. Does that mean she has her single target super OP buff off? I actually don't know what the priority is on her AI. Whether she would go for Bells first or for that buff. Little Leo's going to go Keenblade again. So very similar turn rotation coming out from SurfTaco here. And seeing the standard Moor and Valade coming out from Mr. Aloha. Not something you see very often. It's pretty cool to see. What is Moor channeling? I see her so rarely that I actually have no clue what she's channeling here. Sweet Sport coming out from the Valade. Only will connect with him and the Glaciella. But a really nice buff coming out from Moor. That being said, she's more of a kind of like a magic tank. Not even tank. Magic, anti-magic bruiser? I don't know what you would want to call her. But Perrine is not a magic damage dealer. Vortex Kick. That's a lot of damage. That's a 2-shot for both of those units, I would say. Resist magic coming out from Little Lila. Aerith, what does she have to do here? Does she just go for another haste? She has no one to heal. More, how much can she damage? How much damage can she get down here, though? And she goes for the re-raise, actually. One thing about Aerith, she's a very, very cool and pretty strong unit, but getting used to her AI is one thing. Vortex Kick comes out again. That haste is just putting in so much work, and it's just like we saw in Season 1, a hasted up, super strong water unit on SurfTaco's side. Hard carried him in Season 1. He's putting in that same work right now. Vortex Kick hits from there, 8,000 damage. Perrine is a one-woman wrecking crew here, and GG's. To SurfTaco and Mr. Aloha. Perrine took all 6 of those kills in both of those matches. That was incredibly impressive from SurfTaco's Perrine there. And GG's. I think we know who the true wave commander here is. That would be Mr. SurfTaco, the champion of Season 1. But props to Mr. Aloha, though. Honestly, his team looks really, really legit. He put in some work in week 1. I'm curious to see where he goes from here. Both of these teams, remember, are now sitting at 3 points. So nothing crazy here. They are technically both tied, even though SurfTaco just won this 2-0. So Mr. Aloha is in still a very, very solid position with 7 weeks left to go. But we are not done yet, you guys. We have one more series left for you this week, and let's go ahead and check that out. For our last matchup of week number 2, we've got Unhindered of the guild Eureka Ward, Storm Reborn on the left side, Willy Goats on the right of the guild Solaris, and the Corpse Brigade. Last week, I played against Willy Goats, so I ended up winning 2-0, but I do think he's got a decent team. I think he's got some cool angles. He's got so many Final Fantasy Tactics characters that I love that he's bringing this to our league. So many different FFT characters that we'll see. Also, we haven't seen the Dark Fina yet. Is it time to bust out the Dark Fina Balo Joker comp? I think that could be very strong. He did bust out Knight of Ruin Stern Balo Joker last week, but unfortunately couldn't get a win with it. On the left side for Unhindered, we saw him bring out Esther. We saw him bring out More Than Merrier, Little Lila Halloween. He went a little all over on his team comp. He did 2 different teams. The only person we saw twice was Sosha, which hopefully... well, I don't know, we see Sosha sometime more soon. She's getting her master ability too this week. I believe it's actually today as you're watching this video. So yeah, should be an interesting watch. I think he's got a lot of really cool wind angles. And on the plus side, Willy Goats doesn't have any ice. So will we see some evasion? Sorrow is an evasion unit. We've already seen Willy is not scared to bring out the evasion Delita. I don't know what we're going to get into, but this is the last match of the week, and let's take a look. All right, guys, game number 1 here between Unhindered and Willy Goats. Unhindered rocking that Esther, and Wigriff, Willy Goats, hovering the Knight of Runestern. He brought this out in both matches against me last week. Curious to see, is this the Runestern Joker Balo combo, or is this the like evasion Runestern with Delita Mustadio that we saw last week? I think it's the latter. It is Delita and Mustadio coming back. Unhindered going with Sorrow, Esther, and Mish. And Mustadio just sprinting into this fight, walking right up and going for Seal Evil on the Mish. Does not quite take him out. Uses most of his AP, so he doesn't go for the buff. I imagine that's probably not what Willy wanted. He probably wanted the accuracy buff on the party. But Illusion and Treasures Hunter's Fortune. So Mustadio probably not going to be very evasive, but the other 2 units probably will be. Esther going to get AoE resist up and the shield on herself. Mish going to walk forward. Is he going to go for Toad? Yes, he is. And he lands it. Mustadio is now a frog. And Sorrow going to go for Grease Lightning. What is he going to say? 11,999 damage. He damage caps. He says, hey, I'll take this Toad. I'm going to cook up some frog legs for me and my friends. Crush Accessory Plus coming out, taking out the Mish. It is now a 2v2. Crucially, though, Sorrow evaded Delita. So there's evasion on both sides of this. The only unit on the field right now who I think is probably not evasive is Esther. But she can be pretty accurate. She pops the Immortal Spirit. Was she in range to hit? I don't know. Did she pop Immortal Spirit because she can't hit, or just because she wanted to? That was a weird buff coming out from Sorrow, too. Is he not able to hit this Delita? Stormbrand misses. They might not be able to hit him at all. Or at least not a very high chance. She went for it, so she has a chance. But Sorrow's dodgy, too. This is hilarious. The Evasion Wars. May the luckiest man win. What is Knight of Runestern going to go for? Hazard Render. That is a lot of damage onto the Sorrow. Strike of Ruin coming out. Misses the Delita again. I think that's the 3rd dodge, isn't it? Or is it 2 on both sides? I don't know. Hazard Render is going to go, though. Going to proc the Courage on Sorrow. And Delita hits Sorrow. He doesn't have re-raise. This is now a 1v2. What can Esther do? She can Stormbrand. That's a lot of damage. Excuse me. Nightfell coming out from Knight of Runestern, proccing the Courage. Delita goes first, though. What is she going to do? She's going to fall over and die. She's got nothing left for her. And the evasion Delita just popping off, honestly. I put him in the thumbnail last week, and he dodged a hit or two. It did work. He did a lot more work this week. Honestly, he just went absolutely nuts in that first game. What does Unhindered have in response for game 2? I think he needs to bring more accuracy, because if Willy's willing to bring this evasion team, he needs to load up on that accuracy to be able to hit, or else it's going to be really, really hard to take him down. But what kind of answer does Unhindered have for game 2? Let's go ahead and find out. All right, guys, so we still have the Sorrow and Knight of Runestern showing, but Sorrow is in slot 1. This makes me think, did he slot out the Esther? Is he going something else? He has a higher magic stat than last time, so I think he's probably bringing a different type of unit. And he's bringing More the Merrier instead of Esther. So thinking that More the Merrier might have a better chance versus this evasion team. Let's see if it's true. The Safeguard Plus coming out from Mustadio. So an adjustment coming out from Willy saying, hey, I don't want to start out in the same spot. I want my Mustadio buffing with my team. I don't want him running out right out of the gate. Treasures Hunter's Fortune coming out from Delita. And Runestern, I imagine. Illusion buff. Yes, it is. Buffs the Mustadio and going to walk forward.
All will go well. Future promises hope.
Gets the re-raise accuracy up. Could be pretty massive on that More the Merrier, and probably the reason that he decided to go that route. Going to pop the Starlight Elena TMR on Mish. So expecting a lot of dark damage coming out from the Runestern. To be fair, Stern did a lot of the damage last fight. I mean, Delita did a good chunk too, but Delita going to pop Meditate. And what does Mustadio have for us? Just go Shadowcast. So actually has his own evasion buff also. I love this Final Fantasy Tactics evasion team. I think it's so cool to watch. Is Mish in range for a Toad? I think he is. He's got pretty insane range on that ability. Going to pop the Black Rose Helena TMR and More the Merrier. He goes for Total Clutter. Does it land this time? It does not. Delita does not turn into a toad. That's actually pretty massive, I think. That would have been huge if he could change him. Grease Lightning, it misses. So not only does the toad not go, but he actually misses the limit break. Does not have enough accuracy for this evasion team. Hazard render a lot of damage, and this looks really, really good for Willy right now. The accuracy buff's going to help. It's going to help hit the Sorrow because he's got evasion on his side too. He's going to connect. He's going to take out the Mish. Courage procs on Sorrow. How much damage you got? Crimson Cuts, 85-80. So now with 2v2, More the Merrier needs to hit a big attack here. If she hits something big, it could be enough. Takes out the Delita in one hit, but misses the Runestern crucially. So he's going to kill Sorrow, and this is now a 1v1. Who goes next? More the Merrier. What do you have? She misses. Even with that accuracy buff, it's still not enough. This team is very dodgy, and you have to wonder, does Unhindered have like full accuracy and luck runes on the More the Merrier right now? Standard attacks, that actually does hit the 100% shield procs, but he actually gets his counter, which buffs his evasion even more. Mighty Break going to come out. Not quite enough. Who goes next? Runestern actually goes next. But she has re-raise, doesn't she? She does. Can she kill him in one hit? She's got a lot of damage. Can she hit him? She should walk behind. She didn't. I am very confused. Okay, Knight of Runestern takes that kill. I'm very, very curious, though, on the positioning of More the Merrier there. I don't know why she walked in front of him. She would have had a better % chance to hit him if she walked behind him. And for some reason, she walked in front. That doesn't make any sense to me in my brain. I don't know why the AI would do that. I'm not saying she would have hit from behind. I think there was probably still a really low chance, like 20-30% even then. But that being said, she would have had a better chance. So I'm not sure why she did that. Either way, though, it was a heck of a fun time watching that Evasion Final Fantasy Tactics team, and that match was actually very, very close. If Unhindered hit one more hit, that easily could have went in his favor. So GG's to both of these players. Willy Goats, congrats on getting on the board, getting your first series win. He's got 3 points for this week. Again, 7 more weeks for all these players to try and get more points, so a lot more time left. That being said, let's go ahead and check out the stat leaders for the assists and kills, and then also the standings after the first 2 weeks of the Rundall division. All right, guys, I mentioned this in the Heindler video yesterday, but just in case you didn't watch it, I just want to say really, really quick. The assist stats this year are tracked differently. It is a much more simplified version than it was last year. Last year was basically dependent on, like, did the unit buff somebody? Did they heal somebody? Did they deal damage to somebody before they died? Did they have hate and take a hit? Honestly, it took me so much time to track all of that stuff last season. I just wanted it simplified because I felt like I spent more time tracking all those stats and recording all of them than I did actually recording these videos, which is just that's not right. I shouldn't be doing that. So that being said, the assists, I'm still going to track them, but it's much more simplified. And it is literally as simple as for Naya, these 14 assists. That means 14 times she came to a fight and one of her teammates got a kill. That's all it comes down to, and it has to be the final kill. Like, if somebody gets re-raised, the kill before that doesn't count. For the final time, if that unit dies, who killed them, that's all that really matters. So this is the top 10 assist leaders for our Rundall division. Number 1, we've got Naya of the Gnostics. Not surprising, he's brought her every single match, and he's gotten 3 kills in 4 of the matches on that team, and then 2 in another, so 14 assists. Excellent job by Cop and Naya. Uni of the Shoopufs, 12 assists, so it assist on... basically 4 for 4 matches, 3 kills each time. Then we've got Little Lila with the Supperenes, Shadowlinks of my team, the Demon Detectives, Lucio, Mustadio, Stern Knight of Rune, Slime, Snow, and Aerith, bringing up the end of the assist leaders of the Rundall division. As for the kill leaders, we have a 2-way tie for first with Starlight Elena on the Gnostics and Leela the Bold of the Demon Detectives, both at 9 kills. Alaya Rundall has 7, Perrine picking up 6. This week puts her in 4th place all by herself. We've got a 3-way tie for 5th between Zoma, Delita, and Glaciella Wazette. And then the Gumi Gods have the 8th, 9th, and 10th place kill leaders of Astrius, Raychez, and Locke. I hope you guys enjoy seeing some of those stats. Just wanted to break down the standings for you as well. And again, if you didn't watch the Heindler division, just a really quick thing on how to view this. So these are the standings in order. And essentially the line means it's a tie. So it's a 3-way tie for first between these 3 teams. How we track this first and foremost is points. You gain points based off your wins and losses of your series. If you get a 1 in this column, a win, that's 3 points. The middle column is losing the series 0-2. And this column is if you lost the series, but you happen to win a game. So if you win a game, but lose the series, like this one in this mitigated loss column, you end up like King Delita, you get a point instead of ending up with 0 points, even though you didn't win the series. And this column over here isn't quite as important, but it is a tiebreaker that we use. We have a system of tiebreakers that we use to determine standings. First one is just like head-to-head record. So if you had beaten the other person, then you move ahead of them. And then we go by most series wins. And then if we get past that, then we go to total plus or minus of your games. So this means that Machen is +4 win-loss in his games. He's won 4 games and lost 0. Coppola with this exact same record, but he has 4 game wins and 1 game loss. So that is what these mean. And those are essentially just like a tiebreaker that we use, especially for the supplemental draft. When we do the 1 round of supplemental draft, we go in the reverse order of standings. So this is kind of the main tiebreaker we use for that because a lot of teams don't play each other by that time in the season. So just wanted to make that clear for you guys to just kind of better look at this and understand what the heck's going on. That being said, we have a 3-way tie for first. We have MaechenX, Coppola, and AllSmokedUp, Shoopufs, Sweetheart, the Gnostics, and Gumi Gods all at 6 points. Then we have myself, my team, the Demon Detectives, all alone in 4th. So if the playoffs started right now, I'd be in. But unfortunately, we have 7 more weeks to play, so I have to keep this up. Number 5, we've got SurfTaco, Willy Goats, and Mr. Aloha all tied. King Delita alone in 8th place, managing to snag that point this week. And then Sandrooster Unhindered, unfortunately, with 0 points down at the bottom. But again, 7 weeks is a long time to get points. And just to put this in perspective, last season, the number 1 or the person who won the entire thing was SurfTaco, and he only had 3 points after the first 2 weeks. Jesus Albiel also only had 3 points after the first 2 weeks, and he was the number 2 seed going to the playoffs. So you never really know what's going to happen. Sometimes you can face some of those tougher teams early and lose to them, and that doesn't necessarily mean that your team is bad or anything like that. Sometimes you just match up poorly against somebody. So 7 more weeks, a lot more games to play. This has been an absolute blast. Thank you guys so much for watching this. If you enjoy this content, please hit the like and subscribe button down below and leave a comment letting me know who you're rooting for. Any teams that you think are fun to watch, any teams that you think are going to do really, really well. Let me know down below, excuse me. I am losing my voice. I will wrap this up. But yeah, also, if you have any suggestions for the WDL going forward, if there's any sort of changes I can make, please, please, please let me know. Thank you again. I'm so grateful that you guys enjoy watching this. And that's going to be it for me today. We'll see you guys next Tuesday for week 3 of the Rundall division and next Wednesday for the Heindler division. That's all for today. You guys have a wonderful day.